What's going on to all my YouTube viewers, man? I recently got a response from my dude Rodney 383, so I'm gonna go ahead and respond back. I already listened to some of the first part, and come on, Rodney, come on, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and replay some of the video.
Your emotions have a lot to do with your mental state. So in turn, that has an effect on what powers you can, if you can increase your powers and whatnot. If you think you can do it, you can do it. It's kind of that premise.
The only thing I gotta say with the emotions thing, I understood everything you were saying with how it's a shonen jump manga, so you should expect this. But in Ichigo's case, I mean, it just seemed like when he get angry, the only thing he does is just put on the mask. Like, I mean, the Ukiura fight. All Ukiura had to say was, yeah, I took Orihime here. All of a sudden, this dude run up at him. He didn't put on the mask right away, but he just charges at him and tries to hit him. And I'm like, okay, you mentioned later in the video about them trying to fight smart. Ichigo uses no type of smarts, you know? He just lets rage control him. And that's why he always gets helped later on in the show, is because his rage never works for him. And then someone comes out of nowhere and then they help him out. And then it's a 2-on-1. I mean, technically it's not a 2-on-1 because they're both not attacking him at the same time. But come on. I mean, if you're getting owned and then someone else walks in and says, I can handle this dude, that's basically a 2-on-1 to me. Basically. Because the second dude that came in didn't give you time to rest up and get 100%. You know, he just walked in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm going to keep going, man.
Alright, so let's keep going. In the appearance, when they release their form or go to a higher level, is basically regular. Oh, but that's not good enough.
I mean, okay, I see what you're meaning with the bankais and stuff, but okay, if you look at Kuchiki Byakuya, I don't really see a difference in his real appearance. I mean, he has some wings that he grows later, but I think the wings, I think that's only for a certain attack he does with the sword. Like, all in all, I think he can be in Bankai for a long period of time, and you wouldn't be able to tell the real difference in him. I mean, besides the whole swords circling around him. And I used to like Bleach, to tell you the truth. I used to fuck with it a lot. But Bleach is just one of them shows where it has no element of surprise to it. And if a show has no element of surprise, then that means I can predict every single winner of every single fight. And to be honest, the only people I expect to lose is people that fight Aizen. Because in the entire show, no one really loses. I mean, Ichigo lost to Grimjo. I give him that. He lost to Ukiura every single time. I don't even count that as Ukiura taking an L at the end. But it just seemed like Ichigo be whipping powers out his ass. But I'm gonna keep going.
Even though it helped you beat the that's not good. I'm into another fight. Like the past 150 chapters. I had anime. That's pretty much the genre that this anime is in. So already going in, you should already know that.
Well, see, I'm okay with fights, you know, because fights are what we look forward to when we watch the show. We want to see this dude fight that dude in the matchup. But Bleach doesn't explain how a fight starts sometimes. Sometimes a fight will end, and then the next manga chapter will just be two dudes looking at each other, and then they'll just start fighting. Now, I mean, they might show a dude run up into a room and the dude's in there and then they start fighting, but for the most part, it has horrible transitions. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm being picky. Maybe I'm a picky ass dude. I don't know. But when I watch a show like One Piece and I read a show like One Piece, and I do compare them a lot because I consider One Piece the best. So if I compare a show to it, you know what I'm saying? Of course, since it's the best to me, it's always going to be a bad review. But all in all, I'm just picking apart like what they need to work on. In Bleach case, in my first videos, yeah, I was getting a little, I was exaggerating, but for the most part, I mean, let's look at it. Okay, Kenpachi and Ichigo both fought that one dude. All right, I believe, okay, Tozen, he lost to two people. Um, I believe the number one Espada, I believe he lost to two people, if I'm not wrong on that one. I believe the number two Espada, I believe he lost to Soy Fawn and her, you know, lieutenant. Um, Matter of fact, everyone that's like ranked real high in the Espadas, with the exception of Ukiura, but I count that as, Orihime and Ichigo fighting him basically because she brought him back to life, yada yada yada. And Grimjo helped out too. So really, it was 3 against 1. I mean, if Grimjo would have never took Orihime to revive Ichigo so he could fight Ichigo again, the show would be over. So Grimjo's own, stubbornness, like, what the hell, he got killed by Ukiura? No, no, you better bring him back to life. That's basically what kept the show going. But yeah, I didn't really watch 256 chapters. Now that's kind of an exaggeration. Uh, See, what happened was I was actually watching the show, and up to the Aizen part, I thought this show was amazing because it had the element of surprise that I mentioned earlier. But then it had the little Bounto saga, the little filler. And then after that, they come back, Karakara Town. I thought this character, Ukiura, was cool. I thought Yami was just big for no reason and a piece of shit. But for the most part, I thought it was interesting. And so I kept watching it. But, just the way they just, Ikaku whips a Bankai out his ass. I just thought that was. I mean, when I first saw it, yeah, I thought it was badass. Like, oh, Ikaku got one. But when you think about it, why would you not want no one to know you got a Bankai just because you don't want to be ranked higher? Like, what? I mean, just knowing that he could have used that Bankai on Ichigo at the beginning of the show, that kind of pisses me off as a reader, as a watcher, because that let me know that was a waste of my time. He didn't fight at full strength. He took it easy on Ichigo, and he shouldn't have. He had no reason not to. The nigga was an intruder. Like, what the fuck? Whoop his ass. Like, that's your job. I don't want people to see my Bankai. Last time I checked, there was no one important that was around that fight anyway. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think homie with the little eyebrows and the little lashes, I don't even think he was there, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think everybody was running around scattering and whatnot. But anyway, let's keep on going with this. I'm getting off pace.
Renji, they had each iron card that they had to fight. And because of their little restriction on their power, I think they only had like 30% of their power or whatever.
I remember that. I do remember that. But I don't really count those fights. Because if you think about it, those Arcars was weak as hell. They better beat them one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like the main Arcars. Like, it seemed like no one could just match up with them. And like the way each of them are just dying is just kind of whack. Like, what the fuck? How do you go from basically decaying a girl's hand and totally owning her to getting owned yourself? Like, come on, man. If anything, the funniest thing about anime to me is it's like Bleach, I find, is a wannabe Dragon Ball Z to the fullest, because in Dragon Ball Z and in Bleach, they spend so much time. I don't want to say thinking to themselves, but they spend so much time when they're fighting explaining their own moves. Like, why the hell would I explain my move to you? I would what? Hell no. Now I know they do that for us, the readers and the watchers of the show. I understand that, but if you trying to win the damn match, why the hell would you let him know? I accidentally press the refresh button. Why the hell would you let him know your technique? Like, what's his name? Like in the latest manga, because I'll jump in just to see where they're at. Not on some serious stuff. A homie that introduced Ichigo to the mask, to the Hollow Mask and whatnot. I keep forgetting his name. I think it's like Shinji. Like, he just tells Aizen his complete ability. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, bro? This nigga is the biggest villain in the anime. Whoop his ass. You talking too much. But yeah, man, I'm about to go ahead and start a part 2 right now, because I already see that I'm only 10 seconds left. So, yep.